Idźmy, bijmy Moskali, świat nas za to pochwali. Walczmy za swą krainę, pędźmy licho za dźwinę.
Hello, it's me, Frijano. As you can see, I'm still playing World of Warcraft, and I intend to do that more and more because the Wrath of the Lich King expansion is coming out. And I've been anticipating this one for years, for many years, so many years. TBC came out in 2007, as I mentioned, and it's about the time I started playing. But I'm waiting for the Wrath of the Lich King because it's my favorite expansion. I don't like fancy the newer ones too much, it's just different gameplay, it just doesn't feel the same. And I'm a proper millennial, so it's like...
Greetings, friend.
It's my... I was a teenager when this game came out, so I was like 18 or 19? 19, yeah, I was 19. So the dawn of my teenagehood. Anyways, yeah, I'm 34 now. I don't know if it shows, but I'm 34, though I have a mindset of like, on good day, like 17-year-old, but usually like, I'm fucking 12, okay? Like, I guess it shows. God. Yeah, and I wanted to talk today about two things. One thing that I will do in the game is I'm gonna show you how to farm the Blood Elf Bandit mask. It's an item, like a white item, so it doesn't have stats really, but it looks cool. It looks cool on Rogue. I will show you on a screen how this mask looks like. And you can farm it here on Azuremist Isle. It's a Isle of the Draenei, like a spawn place of all the Draenei that crashed into Azeroth with their mothership, so kinda like me. I'm still waiting for ancient Slavs to like pick me up. Please come take me from here. I don't want to live on this gay planet anymore, please. Yeah. Yeah, I will show you how to like farm it. I even made a macro for that. You can make macro here. You can put here like /target blood elf bandit, right? Like put this here, right? I already have that, so you just run around the place where they can usually be spotted and just click it and it will target them, so because they tend to be invisible. So yeah, because they are bandits, right? Like me. I'm a sneaky motherfucker too. Oh, and I wanted to swear less, but I just can't stop. Even with all the slapping, even in my diagnosis I have that I don't really learn on like punishments, so it doesn't matter what I do. Swearing just rolls off the tongue too nicely for me, so I'm gonna fucking swear all I want because fuck that. Okay, so I will check where these motherfuckers spawn. I will show you map too. There are close by, somewhere here apparently. Oh, and I'm level 22, so I can make poisons and I can apply them on my daggers. Finally, it's the things that I miss in new expansions, the small things like that used to be annoying to do because you had to like drag all this fucking shit, right? But it has its own like its own appeal, I guess. And the topic I wanted to talk during this gameplay is something that is very recent. So the war that Russia started in 2014 in Ukraine, and Poland has been talking about it for years, but nobody listened to us, because why would you listen to fucking Polacks, right? Anyways, like, today is 10th of May, so this war is around 2.5 months in progress now. Poland is now around 10% Ukrainian. We took over 3 million refugees. There are no like refugee camps here. They are all being accommodated either with like Polish families or in hotels, and you know they are getting free doctors, like psychological help, opticians, like dentists, whatever. There are some Poles that are butthurt about it, but most Poles like understand this situation and that we are the neighboring country and very close to Ukraine, like historically, culturally, like linguistically wise. We used to be one country for centuries. Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this more because... Am I in the right place, by the way? Let me check. Somewhere, yeah, around here. Somewhere here, and I'll show you the map later. Yeah. Going back to this war, I've talked with like many like Western Europeans and Americans, and they don't particularly know what exactly is going on, why it's going on, like something that Putin wants to bring Soviet Union back, which is bullshit because it wasn't even his creation. He just wants Russia strong, and he's very paranoid. And you know, just typical dictator gone fucking crazed. Yeah, of course. He has claims. He thinks he has claims to these lands. Oh, this is nice. Jesus Christ, I wish I was high now. But I have vodka, so... not bad, honestly. I just can't stop drinking vodka. Yeah, and... Where's these fucking bandits? Oh, yeah, right. War, right. So, like, my Norwegian friend said that they have a border with Russia, which is correct. They have a small, like, 2-meter border with Russia, very north. And they are like, shit, is Putin going for more? Are we gonna get, like, invaded? Like, I wouldn't, if I were Norwegian, I wouldn't be, like, too alerted. And I wouldn't be alerted because Russia doesn't have claims to Norway, right? Finland more Finland because, yeah, history shows, but Norway not so much and Sweden not so much. Baltic states, yes, they might go for that, but not even because of Soviet Union, more because of like ex-Russian Empire and that Russia strong thing. Just a disclaimer, I have Russian friends and I don't hate Russia, I don't hate Russians. I just hate this bullshit because, like, I am Slav and I wish Slavs had good things, different history. Yeah, I wish we could have nice things, like, I don't know, maybe contributing more to, like, space exploration, which is the best thing that about Soviet Union, the space thing, right? The only good thing except cartoons, maybe. Like, No Pogody, I still watch it sometimes. Yeah, I'm a millennial, right? I grew up on this stuff, like, I was born in 80s and I watched these comic cartoons when I was a child in Russian or in Polish, right? So, disclaimer, I don't hate Russians, I just don't like propaganda because it always, like, fuck things up. I have Russian friends who are not into this bullshit, they just want to live in peace and they hope it was different too. Of course, like, being Polish, I have a slight, like, imperialistic boner too, but I wouldn't want my country to attack other country and, like, claim territory and kill people, because why would we need that anyways? We are not rich and it's hard to, like, take care of, like, this territory we have now, which isn't that small, but yeah, why would we... Anyway. Russia always had issues with their leaders. They were always put down by their leaders and they wanted to, like, grow big and strong. I guess it's PTSD from all the Mongol rights, right? And to understand this situation and geopolitics throughout history and now... Where are the fucking bandits? Anyways. I will just go and click this. Wait. Yeah, I'll just do that. To understand this, we have to go back to, like, over 1,000 years ago, over a millennium ago, where when this part of Europe was still pretty much territory of Slavic tribes, right? Eastern Europe, like Central Eastern Europe, like Russia, right? Russia didn't have all the territory back then. They were mostly like East Slavic tribes, so Rus Slavic tribes, which originated in Ukraine, by the way. Yes, that's why. Because of Kievan Rus, and you know Kiev, capital of Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine. The word Ukraine means borderland because it's like Ukraju, at the land, or we have this word in Polish, skraj, which means like on edge. Yes, so Russian think they have claims to the eastern part of Ukraine because it was under them for a while, for a longer while, and it's East Slav territory, and you know whatever Russia touches is Russian, right? Poland is a Western Slavic country, Lechitic one. Our original name is Lechia, and there is a legend about Lech, Czech and Rus, like you know, 3 Slavic brothers. Anyway, it goes far to these times. Slavs used to speak one language back in the day, Old Church Slavonic, right? And then we like spread more, like Poles went to like west north, where Poland is right now, like next to like Holy Roman Empire, and later like Germanics, right? You know, all this, or maybe you don't know, I don't know if you know. Czechs went a bit south, and they are pretty much Slavic hobbits, and good for them, like stay this way. Czechs were adorable, like no hate, you are cool. Slovaks are cool too, like I love you guys. And you know, Rus stayed in the east and went even more far east, and they cloaked themselves in this mysticism that pretty much later contributed to them antagonizing themselves against the world, and I mean back then Europe, right? Because it was all the world we knew, and the antagonist world against them due to like aggression, and pretty much the most aggressive Slavic tribe back then were the Muscotives. You know, Muscotives, right? Rings a bell. Yes, so those fuckers. Pretty much, if not for them, Russia would be in totally different place right now. And I if I could like experience this emotion, I would feel sorry for them even. But like shit happens, right? I'm Polish. I'm not in the best place too. We are stuck between like Europe and Russia for over a millennium, and we have like Muslim countries in the south, like you know, in the Middle East. They were coming to this place and like stealing tribesmen and tribeswomen to become like slaves. So yeah, and it was a mess, like yeah, pretty much. And then Ottoman Empire, which thankfully Poland did fight off, so we didn't end up like the Balkans, you know, Romania, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, but there's a lot of like clusterfuck here in Europe, and especially here in the East. And god damn it, I cannot find any bloody bandit. Come on, you fuckers, where are you? So yeah, this Muscotives tribe pretty much picked their rulers, which maybe some of you know. The rulers throughout Russian history were mostly dictators, like mostly like Jesus Christ. Yeah, they weren't too nice even to their own people. But they did made Russia strong, yada yada yada, you know. Common people were suffering, but Russia strong, right? It's all that matters, right? Even to this day. I'm sorry, Russians, I really wish it was different. It's not that we have the best rulers ever. Our like rulers, the ruling power in Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, combined with like growing Polish arrogance, especially towards like Ukrainians and Lithuanians and Belarusians, and you know, these groups that were supposedly welcomed to like Commonwealth on like equal terms, but then Paul started to like looking at everyone from a high horse because honor, you know, like it's a mess. We are kind of hypocrites, but I know history, so I know errors of my country too. Like we are insane. Partitions pretty much happened also because we allowed it. Kinda, we kept a blind eye to like threat. And we were like too full of whatever, like wallowing in nobility and like these veto rights, right? Anyways, magnates generally, we fucked ourselves over big time, and they kind of took advantage of that and partitions, right? But it's like Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth started crumbling from the inside, like years before partitions, and it kind of allowed the like abuse, right? And we can thank ourselves and our dear neighbors for that, but knowing history, knowing like mindset of nationalities back then, I can understand more mindset of people now, especially in this part of the world, because I really understand a lot, and I don't feel any hate towards anyone, literally not towards anyone. People may think that ASPDs are full of hate, and I sure am. I sure am full of hate, and I have anger issues as fuck. And they, when someone like steps on my fucking like, someone angers me, it just becomes targeted. This anger is becoming more focused on somebody. But generally, I don't really hate anyone. I'm mostly indifferent towards people. I don't care. It just interests me. It's like I'm not even affected emotionally by this, except when this war started, I felt the strongest rush of adrenaline I ever felt, especially when Russians were messing around these power plants, and I had this, like, I told it in the previous video that I had this like sensation that I could actually die very soon, and it felt amazing. It felt like I was alive, and I usually feel dead inside. So it's something that I usually used to chase, the adrenaline, the like this sensation that I'm actually alive and I can feel things, experience shit, and not just like being a walking, talking corpse that pretty much perceives people and feel people as if those were like more or less interesting furniture talking to me. It's pretty much how people feel to me. And where are the fucking bandits? I will just run around, okay? I just want to like talk about this topic. Of course, Russia has a rage boner towards Europe since like forever, since the beginning of time, right? Because they feel antagonized. It's like a natural leader, right? But I wouldn't be too like alerted if I were Western European, cause I don't think they will do anything unless it escalates very much, like with nukes and shit. Because I guess that if there will be nukes flying, they wouldn't like hesitate to nuke a bit of like Western Europe, right? Like, but it will be fucked anyways. The whole world will be fucked if they decide to do that. If USA decides to do that, so. But for now, I wouldn't be too alert. Oh, thank you, intellect. I'm smart, finally. Jesus Christ. Let me kiss you. Where the fuck is my blood bandit? Yes, I wouldn't be too alerted if I was American. Look, Americans, like, if you're listening to this, nobody is as fucked as Ukrainians right now, and in the next place, Poland, because we pretty much again became the like a PvP zone in like preparation pretty much. It's our location. It's the worst location ever. I think only Israel has worse location than us, and it's been like that since forever, right? So I'm not even, I'm like, you know, if we get fucked, okay, at least I can like spend my day off work playing World of Warcraft before I drop dead, right? It's pretty much my mindset now. I'm not freaking out. I didn't freak out even for a second. I didn't cry because of this. Because I have very impaired empathy, so when I watch this like footage from Ukraine, I don't really feel anything. It's just I don't know how to explain. It's just facts to me, and facts tell me that propaganda and all this bullshit will be best if it stopped, because otherwise we will be fucked. And I sure as shit wouldn't want like some fucking like nukes flying my direction right now, because I didn't even get a mount yet. Fucking hell, and it's TBC and I get mount on level 30. Yeah, so like Hannah, you were saying yesterday about like Norway, if Russia will have any like plans for Norway. I don't really, small chance, very small chance, I wouldn't count on that. For Poland, more like, though, unlike Ukraine, Russia doesn't have that much claim for Poland. We were under them, of course, like during partitions, which like lasted for like over a century. And later, like, we were a Soviet Union puppet, like, you know, Warsaw Pact, you know, like. But they don't really have that much claims for us, because they don't treat us as their territory. They just treat us as some kind of like Central Eastern European arrogant Slavic country that should get slapped, and it will be nice if like we did a little like power play and like assert dominance and get a hold of this region, like Russia king of Slavs and all this bullshit, though they are working very hard to like against it, because from what I see, like Russia doesn't have very good PR now. Everybody see that their army is pretty much not as fantastic as they were showing it before, that Ukraine is standing strong, and even with like little support from NATO. Anyways, like the Russian beer isn't that scary, and us in Poland know that. It's pretty much like a power play. Russia big, intimidating, strong, like thanks to this nobody will like attack them, right? And I get that because it's pretty like reasonable, pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable. I cannot find a word. Fuck, I'm drunk. Anyways, pretty reasonable way to like exist in this world, like by intimidation, but they fucked themselves over big time with this war. They really did. Now everybody is like pumping money into Poland. We were spending 2% of our GDP on military, and now we're gonna spend like 3%, which is one of the highest in Europe. And Russian economy, I live so close to Kaliningrad Oblast, which is like this small Russian oblast in Europe, that I can hear Russian economy crashing, and it doesn't sound too great, because I have Russian friends and most of them are pissed. Some of them are like in semi-psychosis by now, because they're like just imagine how they can feel. Like, I'm trying to imagine that, because I cannot empathize with them, but I'm trying to imagine it. It must suck. Like, only like vatniks, which are pretty much like middle-aged people who liked like the idea of Russia's strong communism, what, you know, stuff like that. Vatnik from Vata, which is like, fuck, how is Vata in English? Jesus Christ, wool? No, not wool. Anyways, like the stuff you stuff into your jacket, which is a poor man's like way to like get warm, because the it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain to Westerners. It's really, I thought that I can explain it better, but apparently I can't. I can show you some memes later. Like, I don't even know how to explain this. And like school children, like who wants Russia strong, like spreading memes and like propaganda, and they're I won't like even comment on that. It's bullshit. Like, why cannot we have like? I'm not like a hippie, like peace and love, right? Because I'm not like that. I like bit of like I like bit of excitement too, but I mean like historically wise, and now they're fucking themselves over such a big time. And yeah, so Western Europeans, this war isn't about like bringing Soviet Union back. It's not about that. It's about yet another delusional, paranoid dictator, this time Russian, wanting power and getting more and more like pushed to the fucking wall with all this bullshit he started pretty much. So I wouldn't be too alarmed if I were Western European. If I were Eastern European, which I am, I mean Central Eastern, right? Sorry, like when you call a Polish person Eastern European, he goes fucking apeshit because. And here comes the Russia. Because we don't want to be associated with them. It's pretty much that. Eastern Europe, even for us, doesn't sound too appealing because of how it's like stereotypically like viewed. But yes, we were behind Iron Curtain, so it kinda makes us Eastern Europeans, and we were like in the Central East of Europe, so let's call it like Central Eastern, okay? So just to avoid butthurt and misunderstanding, let's just call it CEE. CEE, how to pronounce it? Central Eastern Europe, right? So, I didn't find any blooded bandit, but fuck that. I pretty much talked about what I wanted to say. So, see you guys, cheers.